Good evening and welcome. You're watching Trending Tonight, the first episode of 2022 with me, Sanket Upadhyay. Two stories that we are tracking. Story number one is a story which is a sure shot recipe for a COVID disaster. And that is scenes from Goa. It's not like it's only happening in Goa, happening everywhere else also in the country. But this is a peculiar case because what has happened on New Year's has now started to reflect in the positivity rate. The Goa New Year super spreader, there are parties happening, rallies happening. Remember, this is a poll-bound state. Is this a recipe for a COVID disaster? In just a short moment, we'll tell you where the positivity rate stands as of this moment. Also on the show, so the Meghalaya governor, Mr. Satyapal Malik, he said certain things in Charkhi Dadri in the context of the Prime Minister. This is his most direct attack on the Prime Minister. So far, he spoke about policy, government. This time around, he spoke about the Prime Minister. He quoted Amit Shah as saying certain things about the Prime Minister. No explanation from the government, but a clarification definitely from Mr. Satyapal Malik. But the bottom line is, even now, he seems to suggest that there is this, he was trying to address arrogance in the government. Is the government still arrogant in dealing with the farmers or anything to do with farm unions? And in that context is Mr. Satyapal Malik still echoing the farmer sentiment. Remember, this is very important. 3 states where it may have a direct impact: Uttarakhand, Western Uttar Pradesh as well as Punjab. So are his views still relevant among the farmers? That's what we are going to put to a debate in just a short moment from now. But first, let's get you the Goa picture. So Goa has seen a COVID spike after exactly these pictures. These are visuals from the Baga beach on New Year's Eve. Tourists celebrating the New Year. So what has happened is, as a result of this and a lot more, Goa's positivity rate is at a whopping 11.11%. Now Goa has said that they'll impose a night curfew amid COVID spike from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Yes, the same old night curfew which has been brought into question on a number of occasions. Schools and colleges in Goa have been ordered shut till the 26th of January. The Goa government would also enforce curbs on indoor activities. All of this has been activated by the Goa government. But the point is, this event, this super spreader event, was allowed in Goa. In fact, there is a cruise ship which has about 2,000 people on board suspected to have COVID. 66 people on that cruise ship have docked in Goa who are positive. The newer guest on the ship, Cordelia cruise ship, was coming from Mumbai to Goa. So that is why we ask this question: is this a perfect recipe for a COVID disaster? The massive New Year parties. Goa has reported a spike, as we told you. On Sunday, 388 out of the 3604 samples which were sent to testing turned out to be positive. Let's introduce our guest this evening. We've got Gaurav Bakshi, actor and founder of helpdesk.in. Prahlad is the owner of the Black Sheep Bistro and Black Market Goa restaurant. Thank you very much. I would like to begin with you, Mr. Prahlad. My first question to you is the manner in which, see, I understand that Goa is all about tourism, right? That is the backbone of Goa's economy. But
right,
that very backbone and engaging actively and not allowing or not controlling will also hurt Goa, in the sense that, now there will be a situation where the government may have to think of economic restrictions. So do you think that a step at the right time should have been taken?
I mean, we can always blame the government for curbing something or not, but at the end of the day, it is the people have experienced Corona and COVID for the last 2 years in Goa. They know exactly what the correct behavior in this situation is. But from the images that you are putting on the screen right now, you can see that nobody is showing a COVID appropriate behavior. I don't think these people need to be told how to behave. They have experienced corona and the problems of COVID over the last 2 years, but they still continue to behave in that manner. How can anyone control that? I think a certain amount of common sense needs to be shown by all these people with the right COVID appropriate behavior. And that's about it. I mean, people need to control themselves. You can't expect the government to step in every time and curb their behavior.
Okay, Gaurav Bakshi, I want to come to you now. In a situation like this, what exactly should people do, governments do? Here is a situation where I believe that there is collective apathy, whether it's people for not following COVID appropriate behavior, not wearing masks, to governments who are really and actively busy in campaigning for elections. Goa is a poll-bound state.
Yes, Saket, I agree. It is a collective disaster in the making. Governments are holding rallies, bringing in thousands of people together. Private events are being allowed. They're being organized by private individuals, clubs, etc., and encouraged and not restricted by the government. So it is a collective disaster in the making, definitely. I, however, feel that it is the onus is far more on the government. It is their job to provide good governance. It is their job to ensure that such super spreader events don't happen, which will then result in long-term massive impact on livelihood, on health, on lives in Goa and outside of Goa. So are we looking at short-term gains for long-term, massive impact? It makes absolutely no sense. I think the government should have been far more firm, given the fact that they're now putting in curbs after the fact. The event has happened. The positivity rate, by the way, it's a couple of hours back, it came in. It's now above 26%, not 11%. 2 hours back, health bulletin. So it's obviously spiking. After it has spiked, after the millions of people have gathered and gone across the country, gone back, now we are imposing restrictions. It tells me two things. One, they did have the ability to put in restrictions, which they chose not to deliberately for their own reasons. Now they are wanting to curb it. Therefore, they should have done it in the first place. What stopped them from doing it in the first place? I think it raises too many questions on the manner of governance. And this is not the first year that's happening. The identical situation took place exactly at this time last year. NDTV was there. I happened to be there as well. Identical scenarios. Have we not learned from last year? Have we not learned from the start of COVID? This elections, the Zilla Parishad elections were taking place when COVID started in Goa. Identical scenario.
Correct.
So what are we doing? Election after election, year after year, tourism is the excuse that is used. I really appreciate and would not wish for livelihoods to be impacted. Businesses should not be impacted, I agree. But you have to bring in balance of lives versus livelihood. Are we not? Who's going to take the responsibility of the lives that will be lost? Is the government ready to raise their hands and say they are responsible for the oxygen-related deaths in Goa Medical Center earlier this year? Or last year, I'm sorry. Are they going to be responsible for the super spreader deaths that will result from this set of events in the next few weeks and months? Who's going to raise their hands and take responsibility? Nobody.
Prahlad, in that context, do you feel that what we ought to have learned from the second wave, we've forgotten very, very quickly?
I mean, why isn't the responsibility put on the people who are, just look at the behavior that you see on the screen. They know COVID is everywhere. What level of government restrictions can stop the crowd from behaving in such a manner? You go in parties, nobody's socially distancing. We in the restaurants, we follow protocols, obviously, but what happens is, even when we ask our customers, for COVID appropriate behavior in the restaurant, a lot of the times we are met with the response, "Oh, why? We are in Goa." So who should take the responsibility in this case? The government has given us a set of COVID restriction appropriate behavior and guidelines to follow. We are implementing it in our restaurant, but the customer is not willing to accept those protocols. In that case, who should take the responsibility?
Correct.
I think it's always easy to say things in retrospect that, this should have been done. But at the end of the day, no one seems to know exactly when and how another variant might come and attack our community.
While we talk about this, Goa is on its way to becoming that state where there has been an explosion of cases. A 20% plus positivity rate means a lot, which means that there will be a very, very sharp curve up. What will be the consequences of this? Are the facilities ready in hospitals to be able to deal with a spike this massive? Thank you very much to the two of you for joining us. Let's quickly move on now to story number 2. The Meghalaya governor, who has in fact taken on Prime Minister and the Home Minister, Satyapal Malik, in fact, in a speech said that the Prime Minister has become arrogant. He said a number of things, but the big question that we are asking is that while he expressed himself and then backtracked a little, is he somehow even now echoing the farmer sentiment?
वो बहुत घमंड में थे। जब मैंने उन्हें कहा हमारे 500 लोग मर गए, उसने कहा मेरे लिए मरे। मैं कहा भाई आपके लिए तो मरे थे, जो आप राजा बने हुए उनकी वजह से खैर झगड़ा हो गया मेरा।
Meghalaya Governor Satyapal Malik, no stranger to criticizing the Narendra Modi government over the farm laws, firing the biggest salvo, the most direct and personal attack directed at the Prime Minister on farm laws. He talks about a meeting with the PM before the law repeal. Listen in again.
मेरी 5 मिनट में लड़ाई हो गई उनसे। वो बहुत घमंड में थे। जब मैंने उन्हें कहा हमारे 500 लोग मर गए, उसने कहा मेरे लिए मरे। मैं कहा भाई आपके लिए तो मरे थे, जो आप राजा बने हुए उनकी वजह से खैर झगड़ा हो गया मेरा।
A day later, in an exclusive interview to NDTV, Malik toned down his criticism, but continued to maintain that the PM was arrogant in not rolling back the law in time. Now that he has, there is some sympathy among people for the party.
तो उनका रवैया बहुत अड़ियल था और ऐसा था कि जैसे वो नहीं सुनना चाहते हैं। अमित शाह प्रधानमंत्री का बहुत सम्मान करते हैं। उन्होंने सिर्फ इतना कहा कि शायद लोग उनको मिसगाइड करते हैं, तो मिलते रहो, किसी दिन बात समझ में आ जाएगी।
Malik's scathing criticism fueled the opposition's attack at the government. Senior Congress leaders like Mallikarjun Kharge taking to Twitter to express themselves.
ये प्रधानमंत्री की असंवेदनशीलता, उनके घमंड और किसान विरोधी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी की मानसिकता को दर्शाता है।
Farm leaders who led the agitation at the Singhu border feel that Malik, a tall Jat leader from West UP, is speaking the truth. Sanyukt Kisan Morcha member Dr. Darshan Pal feels the government is still arrogant.
अभी तक कोई भी इवन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से केसेस वापस लेने की प्रक्रिया शुरू नहीं हुई। एमएसपी के बारे में कोई भी बात आगे नहीं बढ़ी है और लखीमपुर खीरी का आप देख रहे हो। तो ये जो काम करने का स्टाइल है, इसको घमंडी ही बोलेंगे हम।
The BJP is yet to officially condemn or question Malik. Sources in the party say that any action against him by the government could send a wrong message ahead of UP polls, as he is an influential Jat leader who hails from western UP. Farm leaders will be meeting on the 15th of January to review whether the government has delivered on the promises made or not. In an election season, Mr. Malik's comment have just reopened an episode the government wished were forgotten. Bureau Report, NDTV. Supriya Shrinate, national spokesperson of the Congress Party, Ranbir Singh Pathania, spokesperson of the BJP, and Yogendra Yadav, farm leader. Thank you very much for joining us. I would like to begin with you, Mr. Yadav, first. So, Mr. Satyapal Malik was quoted as saying, he was quoting Amit Shah as saying that the Prime Minister may be out of his mind, and he says that the Prime Minister got too arrogant. A number of things that Satyapal Malik told farmers. He backtracked a little, but the sum and substance of what he said was that the government refused to listen. What has changed right now? Because his conclusion is that there is some amount of sympathy for the government. Mr. Yogendra Yadav, what is your reading? Has the government delivered on its promises?
Sanket, I'm surprised that we are surprised. I think Mr. Satyapal Malik has revealed nothing that is new. It's an official glimpse into what everyone in this country knew. The fact is that this could have been resolved in January 2021. The fact is that the whole thing was dragged till November simply because of the hubris of one man. And everyone knew, everyone in the agitation knew, and frankly, everyone on the street also knew that. Mr. Satpal Malik may have his agenda. I mean, you describe him as a tall Jat leader. I'm not entirely sure of the descriptions. He may have his own agenda. But whoever the person, whatever the occasion, truth has a habit of tumbling out at the most uncomfortable moments. This happens to be the moment. And to say that Mr. Modi has gained sympathy because of that, to my mind, is to believe what Mr. Malik says Mr. Modi believed. I mean, do you think farmers are fools? Do you think farmers have forgotten how they were addressed, how they were ridiculed, how they were attacked for 13 months? What Mr. Malik says may be true if Mr. Modi had conceded those demands after 13 days. No one, I mean, he would have certainly gained some sympathy. He could have been a hero of the country if he did so. But when he dragged it for 13 months, not only not say anything, did not say one word of sympathy for the farmers who passed away. And now from Mr. Malik, we know what he said when he was confronted with the fact that at that point 500 farmers had died. Not only did he not express sympathy, but Mr. Modi and his supporters, Sarkaris and Darbaris put together, launched an offensive against farmers. What kind of names were they not called? So farmers are fools. Will they forget all that? I don't think they would.
Okay.
I don't think the farmers would forget the fact that Mr. Ajay Mishra Teni continues to be a member of the Union Council of Ministers. And they would not forget that not one tiny step has been taken on MSP so far.
So you're saying, Mr. Pathania, you heard Mr. Yogendra Yadav, he's saying not one of the assurances on the basis of which the farmers left the Singhu border, Tikri border, the Ghazipur border and ended their agitation on ground, not one of those promises have been completed.
All the farm laws have been unconditionally rescinded, and the Prime Minister has cited national interest. But the problem is that they want to devise, we could say, politics out of thin air. This is simple politics on farmers, just for instigating them, just for creating an issue, just to climb over the Lal Killa and then put on certain divisive rhetoric. I'm
yes, I can hear you, but I can't hear the.
I'm quite apprehensive, sir. Some oblique remarks, you say, some offensive remarks might have been by some nondescript, by some non-profilers, but what the language opposition is using against the Prime Minister. I was just watching your NDTV. You are calling the Congress spokesperson is calling him as a Ghamandi. The Congress official.
One moment, Mr. Pathania. I hope you know it is Mr. Satyapal Malik who has called the Prime Minister Ghamandi, arrogant.
Sir, Prime Minister is an institution, and the Congress Twitter handle calls him as insensitive. Vanity, cruelty, and insensitivity.
No, I'm going by Mr. Pathania. I'm going by what another constitutional head, the Meghalaya governor, is calling the Prime Minister directly this time around. He says that there was an element of arrogance.
Sir, my respectful submission. With due respect to Satyapal Malik ji, he raised a bogey about civilian killings in Jammu and Kashmir. Then, with regard to a Jammu and Kashmir bank file. Then with regard to corruption in Goa, all substantiatory claims, I neither want to own or not I want to disown. I don't want to comment on it.
So you're basically saying that.
But my point is, sir,
he's working at cross purposes, is it?
What debate we are inventing, sir? What debate we are inventing? Prime Minister is an institution, sir.
No, I'll tell you. Supriya Shene.
We call him insensitive.
Supriya, I want to bring you in now. Cruel. See, the point is what Mr. Satyapal Malik has said. That is over. If we were to look forward, Supriya, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
My question to you is, from here on, if the allegation is that the government is arrogant or had been arrogant, is there an end to that arrogance? Because right now, speaking to a lot of farm leaders, they say none of the promises that were made have actually been fulfilled.
Sanket, I want to say two things here with all due respect to the BJP panelist. Sir, there is a difference between an institution and a post. You are getting confused between constitutional positions and electoral democratic positions. Just to place the record here, technically ये post है प्रधानमंत्री की, institution नहीं है. ये आपकी जानकारी के लिए मैं बताना चाहती हूँ. I'm a little worried. Sir, no, don't interrupt. Please don't interrupt. I did not interrupt.
Is the most important political institution.
No, Mr. Patania, one moment.
Don't interrupt.
One moment, Mr.
important
Patania. You had your say.
institution in
Please let Supriya complete,
Sorry.
please. We have
Please.
very limited
Do
time.
not
Yes.
interrupt me, because if you start interrupting me, I will not let you speak a word. With all due respect to you, please keep quiet. Speak on your turn.
Please,
Thank you.
please carry on, ma'am. Please carry on.
Yes. I just have one thing to say, Sanket. I'm a little worried about what I have heard from Satpal Malik. Look, opposition knew this all along. The farmers knew this all along. 700 farmers have died. And Mr. Yadav is absolutely right. We have not heard one word of sympathy or tribute from India's Prime Minister. Not one. And this stops at his doorstep, all those deaths. But what I'm a little worried about is how factionalized New Delhi really is. Because Satpal Malik says, when I went and met the Prime Minister, he was arrogant. He said, mere liye thodi mare. Imagine how insensitive our Prime Minister is. And then he says, when I met Amit Shah, he says, inki buddhi maar li hai. Imagine the deep divide within the PMO, also with the Home Minister. There seems to be a huge issue there.
If
and
we
that
take
to me is
Mr.
worrying.
Malik at face value.
Absolutely, which is why my point is, if Mr. Malik is lying, the government needs to clarify. If he's not, then we are in really deep trouble. We've got China sitting inside our borders. On the Galwan Valley, they are raising, hoisting the flag and singing the national anthem. And here, look at the deep divide. Amit Shah, Modi ji की अक्ल पर सवाल उठा रहे हैं, और अगर सतपाल मलिक झूठ बोल रहे हैं, तो स्पष्टीकरण तो आना जरूरी है आज. ये तो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का मामला बन
So,
गया.
Mr. Patania, very quickly, where is the clarification? Why is it that there is no explanation whatsoever either from the party or from the Prime Minister's office? It's that very institution that you mentioned of the Prime Minister which has been put to question by the governor.
Sir, my very, very personal opinion, I had rendered it on it, though you are very much right. BJP, we have officially not come out with a stand on it. But I reiterate, you see a string of statements without any basis. I'll use the word without any basis, without any truth, without any confirmation. And then once again, U-turns also. You were also reporting. So these statements are not to be taken that much seriously. But what thing pains me, the narrative, the language, the dictum, and again they are repeating. Are we want to paint Prime Minister as cruel? I again stick to my stand. He's very cruel. Is this the Congress stand? Do you want to paint the Prime Minister as insensitive? Is the Prime Minister vain? Your spokesperson says he's a Gamandi. What culture we are going to groom?
No, one moment before culture and name calling. See, BJP is no stranger to name calling. Okay. One moment. Between the Congress and the BJP, I think everybody will score equally on name calling. Yogendra Yadav, one moment. Yogendra Yadav, looking ahead, looking forward, January 15th is when you have a review meeting or a Samiksha Baitak of all the farmers. In case people have forgotten, just because the farmers have left the borders, I believe that there are preparations going on for that review meeting. I would like to ask you those 2 or 3 things that were promised by the government, or there was an assurance, or that you wanted the government to do. What is the progress on those fronts?
Just 2 very quick comments before that. One is, so we are being told that a man who was raising bogies, who is irresponsible, was first made the governor of J&K, then made the governor of Goa. Who is playing with the people's destiny?
And then the governor of Meghalaya.
And then the governor of Meghalaya. So are you playing with people of this country after knowing all this? And secondly, I thought there were a few years ago, BJP could call the Prime Minister of India corrupt. And today, saying that the Prime Minister of India was insensitive becomes a violation of the institution of Prime Minister. Are we inventing new rules of the game? But more to the question, Okay. The answer is that we were assured that all the cases against the farmers will be taken off in all the states. So far, there is some movement in Haryana, but we have not heard anything from the center about taking those cases away against farmers and farm leaders. About compensation, again, some movement in Haryana, but no movement in other states. About MSP committee, not a word so far. Really don't know, but we must wait till the 15th.
And
before
Mr. Taney, Ajay Mishra Taney's resignation?
Can I please come in?
I mean, even after SIT declaration, clearly a charge sheet, nothing has moved. So clearly, we will have to take a view on all these things on the 15th when we meet.
12 more days left for that meeting.
Can I
It'll be
please
very
come in?
interesting. Supriya, I've run out of time. We'll debate this again. 12 more days left for the farm union leaders to meet for their review meeting. In these 12 days, will things change dramatically, or for whatever the reason may be, is Mr. Satyapal Malik still echoing the sentiment of the farmers? Good night and goodbye.